support that I have been getting from you over the years, over the weeks, over the months. And I just thank you very much for your support. I also want to encourage you, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do so, because in order for us to achieve what we set out to achieve together, I am going to need your support. Last week, we had some individuals who contributed to the channel. Greatly appreciated. As I said before, by myself, I can do nothing. I need the help and the support of you all to help me to do what is best for our athletes. You know, last week we had a very interesting conversation with the Honorable Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, and we talked about funding for athletes. If you did not get the chance to go into that interview, please, we're going to put the description down below, so you should have it after this show. I also want to take the time to say congratulations to our Olympic team for representing us with distinction. You know, I've been there before. I know what the feeling is like. I know that we had fans who are looking out for us and wanted to be a part of the celebration. And I'm sure that you all made them feel good about themselves. Recently, I made a post as well about even some of the countries out there that are providing some assistance, bonuses and stuff for their athletes. And it is my hope that we too as a country will begin to provide a tier system that can give our athletes that one-time bonus, either when they win a medal or if they even make the final. And believe me, I know what it is like. Many of these athletes perform great overseas, and when they come back, they need that little bit of funds that they can get, because these funds that they receive will go a far way. Some of the athletes don't have enough funds, so to speak, so it affects the way how they develop. So I must encourage those who are in the position to assist, just to support them in any which way you can. I also want to say this, because I know that during the Olympic time, we are excited about what's going on. And sometimes we just go right back to regular thing that we used to do prior. So I just want to say this, because it's plaguing me a little bit, because we invest so little in our athletes, and these athletes quadruple the investments. So I just want to encourage those who are in the position, in the leadership, to do a little bit more that can help our athletes. Tonight we have our special guest in the studio. We have Megan Tapper. I'm going to introduce her in a few, but she's excited to talk a little bit about her accomplishments and how she too have been through the struggles and some of the things that she can share with others who can help us as a nation to perform better. It has been a journey for a lot of athletes. And because the journey is so rigorous, this is why I am taking the path, I'm taking the role to make sure that whatever I can do to contribute to the development of our athletes in any way, that I am eager to do it, I'm hungry to do it. And as I said before, I cannot do it without your help. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. You see, the way the athletes perform at this Olympics is a very good thing, but it can also be a very bad thing, because good in terms of they're able to establish themselves, they put their country on the map. But the bad thing is that when you can invest so little in the development of our athletes and yet still get so much, then some people may feel that there is no need to do more to help our athletes to become the best version of themselves. And I've always said this, that the athletes are the future. And without the athletes, there is no need for the coach. There is no need for the administration. So I think after this Olympics, based on what they saw, I think now is the time for us to put more of an effort in making sure that some of the things that our athletes need, that they can get it. When you look around and you see some of the facilities that these athletes are using to prepare themselves, I know the world is asking the question, how can we as a small nation achieve so much with so little? We continue to push on through, we continue to give great performance after performance with so little. So it appears to me that there are no sense of urgency to help some of the athletes find their way. And because of that, I just want to say to those people who are in charge that let us now take a closer look at some of the things that are affecting the program. Let us take a closer look to some of the things that the athletes need. And that is why I'm concerned, and I'm sure many others out there, they too are concerned. So when we look at everything that is going on, if we feel satisfied with where our athletes are, then that can be understandable. But at the end of the day, I say that we are losing a lot of Usain Bolts. We're losing a lot of Shelly-Ann Fraser. We're losing a lot of Elaine Thompson, Hera along the way. So I want you to walk with me a little bit, and I want you to just think about these questions that I am asked now. How many Usain Bolt, Shelly-Ann Fraser Price, Elaine Thompson have we lost along the way because of lack of infrastructure in terms of some of the things that the athletes need? And that is a question that we must answer. I was listening to Taekwondo Tracy recently, and he was saying that his friend, who was much better than him, fell off by the wayside because he did not get enough support. And each time he watched the Olympics or watched the World Championship or the national trials, he feels hurt because he feels within himself that he was not able or offered the best opportunity to achieve the things that he wanted to achieve. And this is why I take the position that I'm taking now to say, let us try to prevent the Usain Bolts of the future, the Elaine Thompson era, the Shelly-Ann Fraser Price era. Let's just look at the things that we can do to help these athletes who are falling by the wayside to have a better shot at achieving their highest potential. So I am saying humbly that we need a concentrated effort to develop a better structure for all our athletes so they can achieve their highest potential in their sport. If you agree with me, let me see your views in the comment section, because the time is now. The time is now where we as a people, as a group, as a body, that we need to start putting our athletes first. So I thank you all for listening again. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. Tonight, I have a very special person in studio with me. This is a person that we spent a lot of time talking over things. She is special, not just because of her talent, but because of the person she is. Always grateful. You hear her comments over the years when she performed well, and what she believed and who she put first. And this is something that we don't see on a regular basis, where the athletes are fully appreciated of the support that they provide. I like this person because she's humble, she's hardworking, she's disciplined, she's dedicated, she's committed to her craft. I have in studio with me Megan Tapper. But before we go into the interview itself, I have a quick introduction that I just want to play, and then I will bring Megan on screen. So let us hear our introduction.
Just ask God, He'll give you the strength. Ask and you'll receive. Next, I want to thank my husband, Matty Tapo. I want to thank my coach, Philip. On Friday, I want to thank my manager, Caroline. I want to thank my mom, my dad, my stepmom, my mother-in-law, my aunties, my family. I want to thank Dr. Haughton.
Hello, Bacon Tapper. How are you today?
I'm
Really
good.
beautiful as usual.
Thank you. Thank
it's
you.
it's nice to have you on the show. You know, Megan, you're a special person. You have done such great things. You know, I am pleased to to have you as a friend, to have you as a mentee, and what can I say? You know, you just continue to amaze me. You continue to amaze the world, and I know that now is just the beginning for
For
you.
sure.
You know, how has the journey been for you so far in terms of Tokyo and now coming back home in your own country, seeing your family again after that spectacular performance and so on? What has life been like for you now?
Well, I want to say life has been normal. It's not normal. I've been doing interviews like crazy,
Hmm.
but I mean, I have Paula Pinnock who is in my corner and Matthew who I'm able to use as buffers
Hmm.
to accept or deny certain things, and so I'm just doing the interviews, which I love to do. I love to speak, I love to inspire, I love to motivate, so any chance I get I am
Hmm.
willing to. But yeah, it's been pretty normal for me. I mean, other than people WhatsApping me constantly and texting and calling me, that's different, but other than that I'm fine and
You know,
happy.
this is what all athletes strive to achieve in life. You know, to be their best at the most spectacular game of all time, which is the Olympics, and you were able to come and deliver. But before I go into the interview, I have my daughter write a poem for you, and I just want to use it as a tribute to let you know how we feel and how the country should feel. So I'm going to play the tribute, and then I'm going to actually go into the interview after the tribute. So let us play the tribute for you. Megan Tapper, Jamaica's first 100-meter sprint hurdler and medalist ever. I am in awe of the talent you displayed throughout this endeavor. We all witnessed that look of satisfaction on your face immediately after you had completed that magnificent race. You have trained incredibly hard and it shows in every meter. Being the first Jamaican with this title makes the victory even sweeter. At times your confidence may have wavered and your efforts seemed in vain. But through it all you labored as you sped down countless lanes. So take a moment to know that you are not only made yourself proud, but there were countless other Jamaicans joyful amongst the crowd. Megan Tapper is now a name we will never forget. So stride forward confidently as your success is nowhere near over yet. You deserve every moment of it, Megan, and you now become that role model that people will now look up to you. So I have a few questions and that I would love for you to share with us the answer. But what did it mean for you to make the Olympic team? And how did you feel, Megan, about representing your country?
What did it mean to make the Olympic team? So, as you would have known, and most people who know me or who follow me, I switched camps, and as a result, the odds were completely against me in everybody's minds. So, it meant proving the doubters wrong, mostly, and getting one step closer to one of my goals, which is to be an Olympic medalist.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it meant. And what it meant to represent Jamaica at the Olympics. Wow. Jamaica is the pearl of the world. We call ourselves the pearl of the Caribbean, but I think Jamaica is the pearl of the world. And to represent such a beautiful, vibrant, extraordinary country, I think nothing can come close to that experience.
Mm. You know, Megan, I share similar experiences, and I know how you feel. Like no, I feel goosebumps, just all over my body, because and this is why for me, I always wanted to share my success with close family and friends, because along the way, the people on the outside really don't know the journey that one would have to travel in order to be in your position. So, sometimes we don't get the chance to tell the people that were there from the beginning how much we love and appreciate them. And now you have the time to do so. But when you began track and field, did you have that level of support mainly from family and friends? You want to talk about the support that it took in order to get you to where you are now?
So, fortunately for me, Greg, I had someone named Emmett DeCamry in my corner from the get-go. So the first time I decided I wanted to do track and field, former Olympian Emmett DeCamry is one of my mom's best friends and family friends. The whole family knows him. He did whatever he could to ensure that I had whatever it took for me to be the best Megan going into boys and girls champs. He sent me CDs, he sent me books, he sent me everything that he thought that was necessary to get me not only physically ready but in the right frame of mind. Because I went to St. Andrew High and you'd have St. Andrew High is not really a track school, so he knew that, and as a result he ensured that I had different series with different techniques, and that's actually where I learned my start. So that's where I got my, as he would call it, bunununu start. So I'm forever grateful for Uncle Emmett. I probably wouldn't have been where I am now without Uncle Emmett's help and his dedication to helping me, and I'm really, 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 really grateful, as well as the myriads of other people. My mom, my dad, at the start, I would say my gymnastics coach, Mr. Yasunori Ishimoto. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have the dedication and stick-to-itiveness that I now have to achieve my goals. My dancing teacher, Stacey Lee Abraham, the confidence that she put in me by just believing in me, that is second to none. My dancing teacher before that, Miss Burke. I just want to, pick up all those people because, and most importantly, Mr. Forbes. Emmett, of course, Uncle Emmett, top of the top. As I said, I probably wouldn't have been where I am now without him, but Mr. Forbes, he was on the track with me. He listened to my goal and said, yes, Megan. When I felt like nobody else would listen to me, when no one else cared, he listened to me and he said, okay, let us achieve that together. And we not only achieved that, but here I am. So.
Megan, and this is why one of my philosophy in life is that by yourself, you can't do a whole lot. We need a group around us
for sure
that can help us with the decisions that we need to make. So I applaud you. I applaud Emmett for coming together, because Emmett was actually the one who introduced us and encouraged, you to have the mentor in me.
Yes.
But let me go a little bit in a closer to say in terms of performance, because some people don't know you. They don't know if you were always good like everybody else. But in terms of girls championship, were you one of the elite girl champion, or were you average, or were you just trying to find your way? What type of athlete were you at the girls championship?
I was from one side of the spectrum to the other. So at the start, I began as a not so good athlete. I didn't even make the long jump finals my first year at champs. Then I went into the hurdles. I didn't make the hurdle finals my first year at champs. I was nobody. I was short. Nobody really kind of cared that I was there. Even though it was a competition between three girls at Andrews to make the hurdling side, because I guess we had depth in our hurdle in our hurdle pool at Andrews. And so I made it before somebody else who was hurdling from way before I was. So I thought that to be a very good sign of the future. But I was the only one in my corner, and then Mr. Forbes came, who then helped me to level up, and so I got better. I made it to the finals, and then the next year I made it to a silver medal, and yeah, this guy.
And so you got a scholarship after girls championship. What
Yes.
really happened? Did you study overseas, or did you stay in Jamaica to develop your talent?
So a lot of people don't know, but Matthew Tapper at the time was at the University of Technology. And at the time as well, I wasn't really fielding many different opportunities to go abroad. And I'm not going to, in my mind, going abroad to a school that wasn't really good in hurdles or had a coach that didn't have any hurdler to show their capacity to train a hurdler. I was going to put myself into a position where I was a guinea pig, because I knew what I wanted to achieve, which was to get an Olympic medal. And as a result, the only persons that I felt were reaching out to me that had athletes who were where I wanted to be was the MVP UTech camp. And as a result, Matthew reached out to them, and he reached out to me, and he made that happen. I got a scholarship to UTech.
Okay, so from UTEP, what did you have in mind? Did you think that you were just gonna finish up school at UTEP and then UTech and then just go into the real world, or you thought beforehand that you wanted to take it to the next level in terms of your athletic talent?
No, man, I was an Olympian from I was about 7 years old. Trust me, you can ask my parents. The real world doesn't exist in Megan's world. It's all about athletics. All about athletics. I went to UTech not to do anything academically, but to do athletics. That was my main goal, to become an Olympian and to win a medal at the Olympics. So yeah. Yep.
So you had it in mind all along that from UTech you were to go into the professional arena with MVP.
Yeah, there is no two ways about it. That's what I was going to do. Yeah.
So what was the transition like for you to move from UTech into the professional arena with MVP? Because that must be a major move from college straight into a camp such as UTech that had the Shelley and Fraser, the all the big names. What was that like for you in terms of the transition? I'm talking about the physical and also the mental transition.
Fortunately enough, it was the same thing for me. So I didn't have this big transition to do because I was already physically in the same place. My first professional or my first international senior competition, which was the Olympics, 2016 Rio Olympics, came at the end of my studies at UTech, which was between my a little before I went pro. And so it was almost a seamless turnover for me. And for that, I'm grateful, because a lot of people don't make that changeover, don't make that matriculation. And so I'm really grateful that I was in a place that allowed it to be as seamless as it was.
So what would you say contribute to that? Because a lot of people, even today, they struggle from the high school to the college, and they struggle from the college into the pro. What was special that made you make that transition successfully?
Okay, so as a lot of track and field fanatics, Jamaican track and field fanatics know, MVP takes their young athletes to Europe in the summers and give them experience in meets and seeing how professional life is, etc. So when it was time for me to actually be a professional, I already had that experience, and I had the support of a huge team around me to make it seamless. And so that's what I feel like. The support and the experience beforehand was definitely a huge factor in the seamlessness of the changeover.
Okay, so let me ask you this: when you decide to make that decision to go pro, because sometimes people, somebody like you who did well in college, maybe parents may think that you need to be a lawyer, doctor, because you're capable of doing that. Did you
Yeah.
get that support from your family and friends? Was it easy for you to say, I can do this without any backlash?
Listen, my parents, Merrick and Marva Gordon, they supported me as long as it made sense, you know? So I used to do cheerleading, and I can recall crying in the back of my father's van in front of KFC after a cheerleading competition because he was telling me that I need to do something that has money in it, and right now cheerleading is not that. And so I need to find. He knew that sports was life for me. Like I wouldn't go into a day job. He would say like Megan Simmons is not a 9 to 5 person. He would literally say that. And so he just wanted me to be in a sport that he wouldn't have to be constantly supporting me all the time. I would be able to stand up on my own 2 legs after a while, and live life, as well as my mother. She just ensured that she did what she could to the best of her ability to help me achieve the goal that I set for myself. They were never ones to really get too involved in my goals. They just made sure that I had the support that they were able to give, and we moved along from there.
And that's a very good thing, Megan, because what we find today that, and I've been on presentations before where you would hear the athletes say that they don't get the support from home. In fact, at home, they feel less of a person because of all the negative criticism that they get from especially the people who are supposed to support them, parents. And as a result, they just get frustrated and may not give the best. So I am happy that you had parents in your corner, which is one of the pillar that we need, at least need, in order to bring out the best in themselves. But in 2019, Megan, you made a bold move to leave MVP club, and many people were saying that it was a risky move to make. How did you effectively handle this decision and this move?
So clearly, support is really a huge, uh, what's the word? A huge factor in track and field overall, because support was definitely what helped my transition from MVP to be as seamless as it was.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Support. So when you say support, um, and the reason why I'm asking that question, and I won't spend a lot of time on this question, because I've always said to athletes that you need support,
Yeah.
not financial support all the time, because sometimes we are able to build mountains without the money. But just the people who can listen to you and hear what your concerns are and give good advice and information and stuff. So in terms of support, could you kind of explain like some of the support that made it easier for you to say, okay, even though others are saying that this is a risky move, I'm not just going to jump on faith. I'm just going to lean on something else. I don't know.
Okay, so I've always said and believed that as an athlete, you need financial, emotional,
Mhm.
spiritual, physical, and mental support
Mhm.
throughout your whole career, right? And so I was able to create a team around me that basically insulated me from a lot of the negativity that would have been hurled at me or anything. They were very supportive. They were there when I needed them. A call away most times. I never ever felt that they were never ever reachable to me. These people include obviously my mom, my dad, um, my aunts, Auntie Marie. I have two Auntie Maries, who is my spiritual person. My emotional person would obviously be Matthew. I had Dr. Wesley Morris and Dr. Gregory Haughton, who were my mental coaches. So anytime I'd feel any type of anxiety or any issues in training or anything, I could call on you, Dr. Houghton, to help me to traverse the seas, because you've done the seas before. You know, you've done this voyage, you've done this journey before, you know what it takes, and your expertise was constantly helpful. Whenever I called you, whenever I needed you, whenever I texted you, you were there, and you didn't just give me one word answers for me to figure it out on my own, which a lot of people do. You told me, this is how you do it, this is how. And those conversations were, as you can see, very helpful.
Well,
In addition, yes.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, in addition, I had my coach Philip on Friday, who would have been there physically for me. Who else? Spiritually, physically, mentally, financially, wasn't really there, to be honest. It's I'm grateful that you guys never, or the people around me, gave me the opportunity to grow and not to have to worry about money, because that is truly what happened. You guys are the MVPs, because in situations where I would have to pay or I would have to find the money, etc., you guys said, you know what, Megs, I can see that you're working hard, I can see that you're determined. Let's just see where this can go, and that's where the financial part came in. All of you guys chipped in one way or the other.
And this is why, Megan, I'm pretty much concerned that a lot of the athletes with your talent are not making it because they don't see the need of putting in place a support team for themselves. And it is something that is needed, because even when we look at what went down with Simone Biles, she was supposed to be perfect, a gold medal, but she was not able to make the transition because of the lack of support thereof that she needed. And I'm happy that you had the people in your corner that help you to travel this terrain, because I personally know that without that type of support, the terrain can be a lonely, a rocky one. But I'm going to ask you this question, because when I look at your career, I usually see where you hit the hurdles and sometimes you usually fall from time to time. And I was thinking about Simone Biles, and one of the reasons why she too did not want to continue, because she was saying that mentally she wasn't too involved with what's going on, because there was a disconnect between mind and body that would cause her to hurt herself. In your case, I noticed that once your level of confidence was high, you were doing great. So I'm going to ask you the question that maybe the world would like to know. Was your fall usually a technical issue, or was it a mental issue? And how were you able to fix this to be where you are now?
I think my falls were more physical than mental. Why? Because this year I was pretty confident going into most of my races. However, I happened to fall in two of those races before the event. Like doing my run throughs on the track right before the race, I fell. And those were one of my most confident times, So I don't necessarily think that my falls were mental, although in 2017, because I felt so much, it started to become mental. It started to eat away at my confidence and stuff like that. But I think because I'm so short, while hello? Oh.
Yes.
Or when hello?
Yes, you're on. You're on. Go ahead. Go ahead, Megan. You're on.
All right, let me just continue talking.
Yeah, keep talking, keep talking. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right, go ahead.
When I hit a hurdle versus somebody who is a bit taller than me, I'm a bit closer to the ground. So it's easier for me to fall. This is my calculation of what happens. While somebody who is taller than me, because their center of mass is higher, they're able to readjust so they don't hit the ground like I do.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's my
How were you able to fix it? That it no, not a problem for you.
well, in my opinion, my team and I ensured that we went through all the different things that would have made a difference in my race. So we looked at nutrition, we looked at technique, we looked at weight, and all of those things. So that is putting all of those things together for trials was definitely what aided me in running better races.
Mhm. Well, I'm gonna take you a little bit back. Looking back where you are now, to me, it is clear that you made great improvements. What are some of the things that you needed to develop mentally and technically that you did not have, but you have now?
Um, mm, hmm. I mean, other than you guys, other than the support, um, nothing. It's just utilizing you guys to the best of my ability, utilizing my mental coaches, you, Mr. Dr. Haughton, Matthew, my coach Philip, to the best of my ability. That's pretty much.
Okay, so I have another question, Megan. Your journey to the Olympics was challenging, and as I said before, I know that a lot of people don't understand. They hear about the challenge that athletes face daily, but they really don't know exactly the things that goes on in our mind. So, in terms of the challenge that you faced, you must have had some very low points. How were you able to overcome some of these low points that you feel like you just did by yourself?
Um, God, God, I realized that I was trying to do all of this on my own. I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to just be a great hurdler on my own, and it wasn't working. Like every time I'd try, every time I'd feel good, because I'd call you and you'd say, "Yes, you sound amazing, you sound ready, you sound, positive and light." And I'd be like, "Yes, I feel that way." And then go in the race and run 13. Oh, I don't know. What's missing, what's not there. But as soon as I started to rely on God more and ask Him to just show up for me and give me divine intervention, I started to see a complete 360 in how I performed, not only at training but in competitions.
So, what kept you going outside? Because I know that, um, like for me, when I get that low energy, I normally want to hide, and most athletes we are like that. We want to just feel like we could disappear sometimes because it's low. We pray a lot, but sometimes, um, which the reason why I'm saying that because I hear you talk about your team, and I don't think people fully understand the importance of your team and how your team can help you to believe more in the things that you have to do. So, in terms of the low points, and is there any way you can give us like an example, like we understand that? Look, I'm feeling low. I see how Matthew said this, Matthew did this. Just let the audience kind of get a better grasp to understanding the journey and the loneliness and the victory. Because I see you dancing and thing, and in what goes on in my mind is that you were able to overcome those low points. You look back at those low points. You saw where you could have, give up on your dream, but you were able to push on through. And this is why you're celebrating. This is why you're crying. Share with us some of the low points.
Well, one of the biggest low points for me was in the Netherlands. Which meet was it? I don't remember the name of the meet, but it was in the Netherlands in about May, and I was very confident going into the track meet. I really felt like I could do some damage there. Shelly had just ran her national record and her fastest woman alive and stuff like that, and I was very, very motivated. Um, and then, boom, 12-9, fourth. And I knew that I could have done better. I knew that I had more in me, and I was completely at a loss as to what more was necessary. And so after that race, I came home and I instantly called you, Dr. Haughton, and you taught me through what could have been the issues, what could have been the reasons, what could have been done better, and that guided me to that changed the mentality from me not being enough to me just trying to find uh, different ways how to tackle the issues that I was going through. You know, I also called Matthew and Dr. Morris as well because I needed all the help I could get. I called my coach, Philip. I needed all the help I could get because I was in a very, very low place. And I knew that you guys had the expertise, you guys had the experience, you guys had the techniques to help me to get through that rough time. So definitely my team, my support is what gets me through the roughest of rough times.
So, like now, since you are here now, do you think that the journey is going to be easier now, or do you prepare your mind to go harder because of expectations and stuff? Now,
Yeah.
since the major journey, the Olympics is out of the way, you have other meet. What is the mindset that you have right now, looking towards the future?
Doing everything that I can do to be the best that I can be. And in order to be the best that I can be, that I would need to continue having my support, continue using my support
Mhm,
that I have available.
mhm. Um, you spoke about having a mentor, and I don't think most people would understand what you mean because the term mentor is it's not one of those new words, or it's somewhat used in a new way that some people may not fully understand, and they may think that a mentor is a psychologist, which a psychologist also can be a
Yeah.
mentor. But in terms of having a competent mentor, what is your view on that? Because this and where you are without a mentor, now you have a mentor. When you compare the two, what's the main difference between not having a mentor and now you have a mentor that can help you to see clearer? What's the difference?
It's a world of a difference. A mentor is someone, in my opinion, who has been where you want to be and who can help you or give you directions as to where to travel to get where they got. And as a result, I was lucky to have Uncle Emmett introduce me to you, Dr. Houghton, because there were some experiences that you were able to say to me, okay, this is what is happening, but this is not how you look at it. How you look at it is 1, 2, 3, 4. And I was like, whoa, I didn't even think of that before. And as a result of thinking of these experiences like 1, 2, 3, 4, I was able then to do the best that I could do,
Mm-hmm.
because I was looking at the picture much differently than how I was initially looking at it. So that is
Mm-hmm.
a very big role of the mentor to just give you a lot of perspective that you wouldn't necessarily have known on your own journey.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition, to just help you through the rough patches, as I said before, you know, there are a lot of experiences that you'd have been through that I would have not experienced before. And instead of me having to completely go through those experiences, me just telling you about what happened, you're able to say, okay, do this, do that, do that, do that, do this. And so I wouldn't have to necessarily go through the valley to reach up the mountain top. I could have drive around you know. So I feel that's the benefit of having a mentor. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this question. It means a lot to me, and I know that the audience, especially if we have athletes in the audience now, that they may be able to relate, are not able to relate to what I am going to ask you now. But for an athlete, one of the toughest thing they have to face, you can run any time of the day because you're good at it. But when it comes to controlling the way you think and controlling your mind, sometimes you find that it is not as easy as a person may say, hey, just do this, control your mind, man, stay focused. And you should have mental strength and endurance, that it is way more complex than that. I don't want you to give out all of your secrets still, but I'm curious because I want to know, and I think they want to know, that when it comes to preparing your mind for competition like the Olympic Games, you're in the final, you get an outside lane, you look at the field, you may start having doubts, you know you're capable of doing it, but something is telling you that you can't. How do you prepare your mind to shine on a stage as big as Tokyo 2020?
Well, the mind was prepared before. You can't prepare on the day, obviously. You have to prepare from way before, and that's what I was able to do with the team that I had. Um, I was able to relax on certain things, knowing that you guys had it under control. I was able to put myself into different routines, because so I think that routines are very, 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 very important and very useful in competition, because you will get nervous, and knowing what to do while being nervous and doing it despite being nervous is really, really important. And so because I was able to have the support of you, Dr. Morris, Matthew, Philip, I was able to set certain routines that no matter how I felt, no matter how my brain was going crazy, um, I was able to either call you, because I called you before every race. And you're like, when you're ready, and I'm like, in a couple hours. Yes. So yeah, man. Having the team and setting routines to me were the most important things to the mental preparation.
So basically, what you're telling me then, Megan, is that you had to go get your own structured program in order to achieve your goals, because you could not depend on anybody else. I'm just saying, I'm not speaking for you, but that's how it seems, because I hear you use the term your team, your team, your team. Is it that you put together your team? Was there a structured team that was a ready-made fit for you? Was there any time outside you found that a team was better than your team, or you just focus on your team? In terms of the reason why I'm asking you this, because I know that a lot of athletes are falling short because they do not have a structured team, a structured program. In your case, I hear you talk about team, team, team. How structured was your team? Because it's obvious that you're talented, but your team too had a part to play in the outcome.
For sure. For sure. Hmm. Yeah, I do feel like, I mean, I always had the talent. I was always running the times in training that was necessary to do well at championships. However, I didn't have the experience, I didn't have the expertise, I didn't have the techniques that it took to handle championships. And as a result of surrounding myself with these certain people who I've named countless amount of times already, I was able to get into the right mentality, get into the right physical shape, get into the right emotional state to execute how I needed to execute in order to achieve what I achieved.
Mm. Megan, it shows that you're dedicated, you're committed to your craft, you have that level of self-confidence to accomplish what you set out to achieve. With all the pressure that you were faced with and the obstacles that you were faced with, what is in store next for Megan Papa?
Well, it will continue to be to do my best, because at the end of the day, that's all I can do. I think I learned that from you. I mean, you know it, but when someone else who's been in that position says it to you, it takes a different level. It's heavier and it weighs more, So that's all you can do, just do your best. And that's what I'm going to try to do every single time I touch the track for training, every single time I touch the track for competition. It's just to put myself in the best position to do my best, whatever that is.
The reason why I am spending a lot of time, Megan, talking about even your mindset, because you will find that as you develop as an athlete, that as your mental develop, the way you think develop, it also help with your talent, your physical talent, because you're able to get more out of yourself when you're fully mentally developed. So I'm going to ask you this question for the road. When it comes to your race strategy, when it comes to developing that level of focus and mental strength, I know back in the days, people usually say, just go out there and run. But where you are now, you see that there is a balance between the physical and the mental. Could you talk to us about the balance that you find, that in order for you to be the best, you must have that balance in terms of, yes, I do the physical work, but I also need to make sure that I clear my mind and I stay focused. Could you talk to us a little bit about the balance?
Well, some people are born with different capabilities. For me, I knew that because of the experiences that I had when I was younger, took a toll on my mental, probably my confidence, etc. I didn't have what it took to just go out there and run. I had to do some tweaks. I have to do some tweaks still in order to get myself in the right mental space to do what I need to do. So for me, the physical and the mental, probably the mental weighs is a bit heavier in my career than my physical, because as I said, I've been running the times that I'm running now, close to the times I've been running now in training for a couple of years. But to execute on the track was my issue. And that's where the mental played a huge role in getting me to the point where I could execute under pressure at the highest level. So you were asking me, how do you balance the mental and the physical? Well, you get around the right people and you sit down and you say, okay, I'm at this physical level. Do I need to be higher in my physical level, or do I need to just get someone to get me mentally more ready, or mentally readier, more ready to to hit the track and to be more competitive and to achieve the goals that are set in training at competition. And for me, I was physically ready, but I needed more mental strength. I needed more mental capacity. I needed more mental everything to get the job done. And that's what I did. I got more. And so both the physical and the mental lined up, and I was able to not only run a personal best at the Olympic Games, but to get a medal.
One of the things I like with you, Megan, you're very honest. It was easy for a mentor to pass on the information to you. You were ripe, you were open, you were ready to accept. And it doesn't matter how great a mentor, a psychologist, or a counselor is, if the athlete is not seeking after change, if the athlete is not looking for a better way, they will never find it. Because as the scripture says, seek and you shall find. And I must take my hat off to you, Megan, because working with you made it easy. You have a nice personality. You're very respectful. I personally think that the sky is the limit, and the only limit that is set is the one that you set on yourself. I have one last question for you before you go. As an Olympic medalist, you now become that role model for people, whether you like it or not, because people will look towards Megan Tapper, the first sprint Olympic medalist for Jamaica in the 100-meter hurdle. That is a big, because we had great hurdlers. We had Bridget, we had
Lassina,
we had a whole lot of great hurdlers, but you. So my question for you is, what word of encouragement, what motivation, what inspirational words that you can provide to female who found themselves or find themselves in a similar situation that you were in terms of your height, know that they're capable of doing it, but they struggle with doubt and insecurities. What words of encouragement can you share with people like yourself so they too can become the best version of themselves?
Well, I would first say find a support system that includes a mentor, that includes a mental coach, that includes someone who takes care of you spiritually or who can guide you spiritually, and who can help you emotionally, whoever those people are. You know, I'm not going to tell you to go to Dr. Greg. I'm sorry. Because you're mine, and next thing I call you and can't get you because you're busy. But yes, he's very available for anybody who would like to jump on the train. But yeah, surround yourself with people who have been where you want to go and know how to get there, as well as never ever give up and dream big. You know, don't listen to the naysayers, because anything is really possible. Anything is possible with God. Anything is possible, and I am finally proof.
Megan, it is a pleasure to have you on the program. I like your energy. I think that you're going to achieve great things. It is a pleasure to say that you're a mentee. And as I always say, I would normally bring my people in the public, but because you put it out there, you made it easier for me to say you were a mentee. So I thank you, Megan. Before you go, for those who are late, I'm going to play that tribute one more time. I spoke the words. The words came from my heart, Megan, and I'm just taking the time to say I wish you all the best, and I know you're going to continue to soar like the eagle you are. So before you go, I just want to play that tribute one more time to you, and I wish you all the best in
Thank
everything that you do.
you. Thank
You're very
you.
welcome. So let's hear the tribute again.
Megan Tapper, Jamaica's first 100-meter sprint hurdler and medalist ever. I am in awe of the talent you displayed throughout this endeavor. We all witnessed that look of satisfaction on your face immediately after you had completed that magnificent race. You have trained incredibly hard, and it shows in every meter. Being the first Jamaican with this title makes the victory even sweeter. At times your confidence may have wavered and your efforts seemed in vain. But through it all you labored as you sped down countless lanes. So take a moment to know that you are not only made yourself proud, but there were countless other Jamaicans joyful amongst the crowd. Megan Tapper is now a name we will never forget. So stride forward confidently, as your success is nowhere near over yet.
So I just want to say thanks again, Megan, for being here with us. Thank you all for coming out and supporting us. As I said before, we have a monumental task to achieve, and I can't do it by myself. So I'm encouraging you all, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We will be putting out new content. The content is to inspire, the content is to educate, and it is to motivate. As I said before, I think it is time for us, the athletes, to come together to request things that are in our best interests. We have done great things over the years, and I think that we can do even better. But too many of our athletes are lacking in terms of the structure that they need in order to be the best version of themselves. You hear Megan Tapper talked about the support that she received. She talked about some basic things that athletes should have. And if she wasn't fortunate enough to go out and put in place a structure that was designed for her, then it would be almost impossible for her to be where she is. And too many of our athletes are losing their way. So please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Again, we need your support. Please continue to support us as we continue to take on this fight. If you have any question, those who know me, feel free to reach out and let me know your concerns, and we will continue the fight together. Thank you very much for coming. May God continue to bless and keep you all safe. I am Dr. Gregory Haughton. Have a blessed day.
The 2020 Tokyo Olympic 100-meter hurdles bronze medalist.
It's a place to come and have fun. When I say fun, I mean fun can done. Oi, 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 oi. Sweet Jamaica. Oh my gosh. Sweet, sweet Jamaica. What a billion sunshine. The weather in Jamaica is one of a kind. Sweet, sweet Jamaica. What a billion sunshine. You have to make a visit even once in a year lifetime. It's a place to come and have fun. When I say fun, I mean fun can done. Oi, 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 oi. Sweet Jamaica. Oh my gosh. Sweet, sweet Jamaica. What a brilliant sunshine. The weather in Jamaica is one of a kind. Sweet, sweet Jamaica. What a brilliant sunshine. You have to make a visit even once in a your lifetime. It's a place to come and have fun. When I say fun, I mean fun can done.